And so yes, it's true. I have tried several peptide combinations in an effort to increase my growth hormone, and it didn't work.
There has been some earth-shattering news recently, and it is just on such epic proportions that I actually had to stop doing my Minecraft hardcore speedrun, and I was definitely going to get the world record. The story isn't how terrible my hair looks today. It is, in fact, around the social media influencer, the Liver King. Now, I do want to say, you've probably already watched Critical's video on this, and you're about to click off. I get it, all right? Look, he one-takes the videos, and I have to write a script because I'm not funny and I can't do jokes on the fly. Now, the Liver King is an enigma. He has 3 companies valued at over $100 million, something he will mention every chance he gets.
I do have 3 companies that make $100 million a year.
Now, the Liver King is an influencer, and like most influencers, he wants to diversify his portfolio. For example, on TikTok, he'll make these quick, attention-grabbing, dopamine-fueled videos. One example I can think of, he's just walking around Saudi Arabia, curling dumbbells. But wait, what? Why are the comments saying the needle emoji? Surely that can't be anything bad. Let's ignore that for now and move on. Now, one thing I love about the Liver King is he has a clean and healthy lifestyle. For example, he will spend $50,000 a year on bottled glass water because plastic bottles, get him out of here. Tap water full of filth and toxins.
The Liver King spends $50,000 a year on bottled water. Why? Because I am so much better than you. Devoid of the nutrition, devoid of the nutrients. If we don't have the electrolytes, if we don't have the minerals, if we don't have the magnesium, then you're not going to be nourished.
But wait a minute, wait a minute. What was there a comment saying $50,000 a year on water, $12,000 a month on juice? What could they be talking? I'm sure it's nothing. Anyways, now Liver King has his own website where he swears by ancestral tenets with such groundbreaking information like you need to eat and sleep. Honestly, groundbreaking stuff. I haven't slept in 7 years. Maybe if I did, I'd wake up with a 6-pack instead of bags under my eyes the size of the Mariana Trench. Now, the Liver King is, of course, a family man, calling his family the Liver family, and addressing his children by their gender with the adjective liver. So, liver boy, for example.
Liver family. Liver boys.
Wait a minute, is Liver King's son the backpack kid? They do look exactly the same though. But yeah, Liver King's main source of income is essentially shilling supplements to you in hopes that if one day you gobble down enough of them, you might, maybe, just have a Herculean body just like him. Now, the Liver King, I have no idea why, completely ridiculous, but he's been accused many times of steroid use, which goes completely against his business model. I mean, you're taking these pills to look just like him, but obviously he has gone on record to say he's completely natty or natural.
I decided to really face this head on and show you my stack. I stack liver and bone marrow every day. I stack the sun and the earth every day. I stack blood-burning workouts twice a day, every day.
But guys, I have some terrible news. Something that no one saw coming. The Liver King might not be natty. There were recent emails being leaked that he is on steroids. Honestly, I, for one, as a Liver King advocate, a Liver King level 3 acolyte, I'm very surprised because I had no idea that he would ever take steroids. He's always been so adamant that he doesn't.
Are you against steroids?
This is what I'll say. I care in the most positive way because when somebody says, hey man, you're on steroids, and they've been saying this for 20 or 30 years. I've been working out since I was 8. So when I was in high school, hey man, you're on steroids. This is a great compliment.
Now, the YouTuber More Plates, More Dates uploaded this huge hour-long expose talking all about his business model, his format, and more importantly, the leaked emails. Apparently, the email leak came from a sports website called Outkick, and it dates way back to 2021, right when the Liver King's career basically started. In the initial email, you could see him say that he's putting a team together to hopefully get 1 million followers by the next year. And it goes into such weird detail about how he's got like a whole PR team that are basically living in his home. He also goes on to record saying he's taking Omnitrope, which is a human growth hormone that's like pharmacy grade, and he was paying around $12,000 a month just for 4 vials a week. The worst thing about all of this is that like he's completely transparent in these emails. He refers to himself by his real name, Brian Johnson, and the email at the address, it even comes up with Liver King. He really wasn't trying to cover his tracks, but at the same time, when he's asked multiple times about steroid use on his podcasts, he is so dismissive. Now, if you don't know what Omnitrope is, don't worry, I had no idea either. It sounds like the sequel to the Avengers Tesseract. Well, the YouTuber More Plates, More Dates goes into detail about how powerful this stuff is and how much he's taking.
Which is roughly 10 international units per day, which is like a fucking really, really high, super expensive dosage that, to be honest, I know bodybuilders who compete at the Open Mr. Olympia who use less pharma-grade GH than that. Like that's That's how high of a dose that actually is.
On top of that, he links all the supplements he's been taking, and it just looks anything short of a formula to create a nuclear bomb. I do want to say I'm not against steroid use. I haven't taken them myself, which, you know, you'd be surprised if I didn't. I'm completely shredded. But it's more the fact that if you take them, that's your own personal choice. It's fine. But the Liver King's entire business model is built on if you take the pills he's shilling, then you will get a body like him, which isn't true because half the job is steroids. There are loads of other people that do this, especially in Hollywood, like, for example, Kamal Nanjiani and even Chris Hemsworth. If you look at these people before and after, you can see, like, they were on gear. There is no arguing that. And again, that's fine. They're entertainers. They want to entertain us. But at the same time, if you look at Chris Hemsworth's portfolio, you can actually see that he has a dietary and workout website that you can subscribe to. And again, it's instilling that dream that you can get a body like Chris Hemsworth, but you can't. He is on gear. The best thing about these Liver King emails that got leaked is the footer. You know, after admitting all the kit he's on, we believe in the ways of our ancestor. We are descendants of the sole surviving species of genus Homo, the baddest mammalian predators that ever lived. We honor these ways by putting back in what the modern world has left behind. You know what? He's totally right. I remember in Ice Age, when they had like the cavemen at the beginning, they're actually shooting up bull shark testosterone in their caves. Now, surprisingly, the Liver King has actually addressed this expose. He hasn't done anything on TikTok. At the minute, he's just posted himself catching an eagle. You know, the kids need their dopamine hit. But he said in a statement that, in a weird way, I'm grateful for the recent events that have shed light on this complicated as fuck topic. Following up by saying he's humbly requesting to go on a mainstream podcast to explain his side of the story. And then he just goes on to shill his ancestral tenets again. I love how addicted he is to being on podcasts. He's been on every single one I can imagine, probably just bar of Critical Zone official podcast and To Be Honest podcast. Although, to be fair, Liver King, you want to come on, we would happily have you as the first guest. I do want to say, though, I have a little game theory that no one's really put out there at the minute. I personally think these leaked emails were leaked on purpose. I think Liver King is way too smart, way too outgoing. He's got way too many people by his side, like a PR team, for this email leak to be genuine. And the fact that he's using his real name as well, and like the Liver King email, it seems like a self-report. Personally, I think with his career, he's like peaking a little bit now. And to get that kind of second win, that second rush, he's going to be one of the first biggest influencers to come out and say, yeah, I take steroids. I'm honest about it. I'm open about it. Again, I'm going to say I'm not against steroids. You know the health risks. It is your own personal choice. Just don't act like you don't take them. There's a fitness YouTuber called Noel Dazel, and he has been completely open about his steroid use from day one. He doesn't mention what gear he takes, probably because all the little kids will go out and actually buy it and start sticking it in their arm. But he is open that, yeah, he takes gear. This is Future Pyro here, hair looking somehow even worse, and I'm still wearing the same t-shirt because I love the smell of my own musk. But there has been an update. So Liver King did actually respond, uploading a 6-minute video titled Liver King Confession, I Lied, with the description having more ellipses than a Harry Potter book.
Primals, I'm making this video to apologize.
Okay, I do have to admit, kind of based how, you know, straight in the beginning, no deep sigh, he gets straight into it and admits that, you know, he lied. Something still really rubs me the wrong way, how he still does that, you know, that little Liver King opening. At this point, really, he should just be doing the apology, but with a needle hanging out of his bicep. Now, the video actually goes into detail of him saying that, you know, before becoming Liver King, he was already minted, he was rich, but now he's rich and he's famous, and how that's a very difficult thing to navigate, you know, as opposed to just saying you do steroids from day one.
Before social media, I was rich and anonymous. And after social media, I'm still rich, but no longer anonymous. And I never expected this kind of exposure. Liver King, the public figure, was an experiment to spread the message, to bring awareness to the 4,000 people a day who kill themselves. The 80,000 people a day that try to kill themselves. Our people are hurting at record rates with depression, autoimmune, anxiety, infertility, low ambition in life.
So now he's saying that Liver King, the character, was a social experiment to spread awareness about male suicide. When, if anything, you're giving people a false idea of what an ideal masculine body is. I do want to say young men being at risk of that is 100% an issue, and it is not talked about enough. But by trying to cling onto it almost as this kind of like moral virtue signaling, but you're shilling pills. You are shilling pills that you are tricking your audience into thinking that they can have a body like yours, but you're on Kit. Kit has carried most of that body.
Our young men are hurting the most, feeling lost, weak, and submissive. So I made it my job to model, teach, and preach a simple, elegant solution called ancestral living, the 9 ancestral tenets, so our people no longer have to suffer, so we can collectively express our highest and most dominant form. This is my fight. This is why I exist.
The thing is with Liver King, it was to get famous. It was not to spread awareness. In those emails that were leaked, you are solely talking about growing a brand from no followers to 1 million in a year without any reference about trying to spread awareness about any issue. You've got to love how he looks away from the camera to like almost reconcile himself, but then when he looks back, his eyes are scanning because he's reading a script. It gets even worse now because he admits that when he went onto podcasts and he denied using steroids, that was a lie. But his excuse, it is terrible.
I've convinced myself that this had nothing to do with the ancestral message. I convinced myself that I'm not a competitive athlete of any kind, so who the fuck am I cheating? I convinced myself that this topic was a placeholder for a far more important conversation. I convinced myself that this would overshadow the 36 years of working out, usually twice a day, without PEDs.
I like how much he's downplaying steroids despite the fact that he just admitted that he was on them. I want to make this clear, all right? I am no bodybuilder at all, but there is no way on, like, let me be clear, Obama disappearing meme, but there is no way on this earth, unless you have some small, minute amount of, like, caveman genetics, you cannot get a body natty like Liver King. It is physically impossible without the use of anabolic steroids. I will admit, through intense working out, you can get close to him, but there are certain things that just obviously gave it away. For example, on his YouTube channel, he'll do these videos where he just walks in the forest, speaks his mind, has some camera guy filming him. When you see his side profile, you can see he's got like one of the worst cases of roid gut I've seen in my life. If you don't know what roid gut is, it's essentially a side effect from taking so many steroids. People have different ideas of what causes it, but the biggest game theory is that taking steroids, it kind of inflates or swells up your organs, especially your liver. So even though you'll have a chiseled body, you'll look pregnant.
In 2021, when I was 43 years old, I didn't feel 100% physically or cognitively. So I went to get monitored and managed by a trained hormone clinician to see what the fuck was going on with my life. And so yes, it's true. I have tried several peptide combinations in an effort to increase my growth hormone, and it didn't work, meaning that my levels still remained below the normal level. So yes, it's also true that I've tried pharmaceutical grade growth hormone, and I finally found success in managing therapeutic levels in the normal range.
Now this is a weird thing. He's almost taking it away from the narrative of like spreading awareness for like, you know, young men and directing it onto himself, almost like he's throwing himself a pity party. I feel like I'm being a little bit of an armchair Reddit therapist at the minute, but you know, dude, before you were famous, you were rich. And unfortunately, with the incredibly rich, there is a common thing that a lot of them are depressed because they can basically get anything that they want whenever they want. There's no challenge. So it's pretty obvious that you wanting to do this huge social media takeover and blow up in a year, getting a whole PR team living at your house, that was for you. That was for you to, you know, feel something more in your life than just being able to, you know, buy anything that you want when you want. And that's fine. There is nothing wrong with that. If it brings you joy in life and you entertain people, totally fine. But you were hiding the whole time behind the fact that you weren't using steroids. All right, I will admit, if you did think Liver King was actually natty, I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you.
I've continued on with 0.6 cc's of testosterone per week, roughly 120 milligrams of testosterone a week. And no, I don't take any other steroids like Nandrolone or Winstrol, but I have tried them in the past without success.
Oh, guys, never mind. He didn't do any other steroids apart from 120 milligrams of testosterone every week. I take back all my criticisms.
Nope. I've never had ab implants, ab etching, or any other plastic surgery, and I sure as fuck never actually had gene editing done in Singapore. I made all of that up. It was all intended to be a joke, and that's an expression of Ancestral 10 and 10. Have a little goddamn fun.
Wait, no. He never had any implants or gene editing. You know what? Never mind. I had a lot of criticisms, a lot of valid ones, but after that, after he brought up a point that literally no one on the internet ever made ever, that's totally fine. That's, I kneel. I apologize. And we kind of ends the video in a weird way, almost like kind of a desperate ex wanting to take their partner back. He admits that the reason he took steroids wasn't really for like raising men's awareness or anything, but more because of him and how insecure he is. I have never seen a man undo his company so quickly. Like, that was the any percent world speed run of company stocks just plummeting.
Ultimately, why do I do them? when I talk about the 85% of the population that suffers from self-esteem issues. That's me. I'm part of that statistic. This is why I fucking work myself to death in the gym. This is why I do 12 to 15 blood-burning workouts a week, just to feel like I'm okay. Still, I have to absolutely crush myself to do so, and I'm wrecked physically and cognitively, and hormone replacement has helped in a profound and significant way. And still, I believe that the path to paradise is paved in fucking hell. I liked it.
Now, he's admitting there that he's taking steroids just to feel like normal. And I don't really want to meme on that too much because that is an actual thing. You will have so many bodybuilders that have legitimate body dysmorphia and they are chiseled. Like their body fat 10% or below, they look amazing, but in their head, they don't see it. It is unfortunately an incredibly common problem that people have. But the thing is, you are hiding taking steroids, and I get it. Anyone that takes steroids, no one wants to admit it because it literally is like, it's a cheat sheet. It's a fast pass. And I get that. People are going to assume that you've skipped the queue. There will always be a stigma around people taking steroids. It's like, for example, Dwayne Johnson. He takes steroids. Of course he takes steroids, but he'll never admit that. He will never admit that because people will cling to that as a criticism and use it against him. So it'll always be this gray area of, oh, does he do it? Maybe he doesn't. I don't know. He didn't officially say it. If you're insecure about yourself and have body dysmorphia, there is no problem with taking steroids, but it's more the fact that you are selling people pills and if they took those pills, they could be closer to you than ever before. It's a business model. You are making money off it. And to bring up this like men's mental health awareness out of complete nowhere, it's so bizarre. Honestly, if he started the video by saying, sorry, I fucked up, and then he just admitted he was mad insecure, that probably would have worked. He'd still get backlash, but at the minute, I've got a plugin that shows you YouTube dislikes. It's sitting on about 50-50. He's shoehorned in all this like mental health awareness stuff, and it's so obvious your PR team told you to say that. Overall, I thought Liver King was going to come back with a solid W, but instead he came back with a chiseled L, an L with a six-pack full of anabolic steroids. So I don't know where he's going to go from here. Obviously, no one wanted to take him on the podcast, so he had to do his own apology. Also, I'm not sure why. Like, if you watch that video with headphones on it and he comes out your left ear, I don't know.
I fully own that I fucked up. I am as sorry as a man can be. And all I can do is take extreme ownership right now, be better, and lead myself to a better life as a better human. Again, thank you to everyone for the support, the criticism, the love, the hate, and above all else, the loyalty.